Say welcome, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. We're super excited that you've joined us today to learn about data-informed decision-making and how that impacts stakeholder relationships. My name is Sabrina Love. I'll be moderating today representing Product Circus. With us also today from Product Circus is Frederick Wendt and Lavanish Gautam. Will be your expert guide in this topic. He is the founder of Edge Agility as well as a Product Circus associate as well. I'm super excited he's here with us today, and I'll let him tell you a bit more about himself in just a minute. But first, I want to introduce you to Product Circus. We're a very new organization. We were founded less than 6 months ago, and this is our first webinar. So welcome. We were founded to bring product professionals together, whether you're a product leader, a product manager, product owner, et cetera, to sharpen our craft and to elevate the joy in meeting in product development so that we can bring more value everywhere to our customers, our users, teams, to our organizations. And we want to do this through learning experiences, consulting, certifications, and conferences. So one of our core beliefs is that learning is not exclusive, and we hope to share back what we've learned, as well as create an ecosystem where knowledge flows in every direction across disciplines, industries, and geographies. To date, the first problem and learning experience that we've pursued is improving stakeholder engagements, not management, to be clear. We're talking about engagement in a richer, more effective, and empathetic co-experience with stakeholders. So even before Product Circus was born, our students and customers have been expressing their frustration and challenges with engaging their stakeholders more effectively. And it's understandable. It's a complex topic inherently, since it involves people, and people are complex. So we've created a 2-day course that dives much deeper into the topic. But today we're going to get into it for an hour on this webinar with Lavanish. Now, I'd like to hand it over to Frederick for a very quick intro, and then we'll get to Lavanish and we'll hand it over.
All right, thank you, Sabrina. So very quickly, I'm Frederick. I am part of Product Circus, and I work for a company called ProAgile. And I'm based in cold Sweden, up in the north. And while it's still cold, we are getting more and more sun. So bright times ahead, I hope.
Thank you, Frederick. Thank you, Sabrina. So I can talk a little bit about me. I will not bore you guys with that. So it's just, I am Lavanish Gautam. I am based here in United Kingdom. So not very much better than what you're saying, Sabrina. It's still cold. Luckily, we got sunny week. Okay, so yeah, it's okay. And yeah, so what I love to do, what my mission is. So I really want to help people in delivering the great outcomes. Okay, and you could see that I'm not talking about the outputs here. Okay, I'm talking about the outcomes, because outcome are something that we give it to our users, to our customers, and to our businesses. Yeah, that's what we are working toward, and that's where I can see that why my mission is very much aligned with what Product Circle is trying to achieve as well. And that's why I am one of the associates of the Product Circles, guys. So apart from delivering trainings and all that, which I generally do with the Scrum.org, and very soon we will be delivering few trainings with the Product Circles as well. I also work as a product coach and consultant, with my company called Edge Agility. So that's what I do: coach, train, consult. Okay, that's pretty much covers everything. Okay, now let's move on to why you are here as well. Okay, so one thing that I really want to understand from you before I talk about something is how the decisions are taken in your organization. Okay, so you can see there are certain examples I have put up here. So like say, are they driven by some kind of data? Are they driven by some leadership instincts? Okay, or are they driven by people's gut feeling? Okay, so in the chat, please feel free to add how the decisions are taken in your organization. Okay, I like it where you have said, because there is not always one, it is this and this or this or this as well. So feel free to put that. So in the Nepal, you have said data informed and the leadership direction. Great. Frederick, based on hierarchy, hippos. Is it, Frederick? Yeah. Highest paid person opinions. I have seen this many, many times. Okay. Lots of hippos in my past. I have seen a lot, Sabrina, where the decisions are taken. Hey, I said so. And we have never provided a rationale behind it. Why that decision has been taken is just that decision has been pushed to us rather than we have been pulled toward that decision, if I use that language, because they have not shared the rationale with us. Okay. And in this session, the one thing which I want to focus more on is this data informed insights. Okay. Maybe it might be supported with the leadership direction. It might be supported with the gut feeling as well. We are not saying that these things are entirely bad. Okay. But we're saying that if you just use one of these only, sometimes you can be biased again as well. Okay. So it's like a combination of it. Okay. What decisions are we making? Yeah. So product development, product management, product delivery is filled with so many decisions. Yeah. So I have just put few. Okay. So for an example, before you even build the product, who your target customers are. Yeah. What your product strategy is going to be, what your product vision is going to be. That thing probably may be required even before you start working on the product. While you're working on the product, you need to prioritize certain features. Yeah. You need to think about which stakeholders I need to look more after as well. Okay. What should be my right pricing of this product as well? Okay. Even these decisions do not end even while you're doing or delivering the product as well. It still goes after that. Are people still happy with the product that we delivered? Do we need to pivot? Okay. Do we need to just move to something else? Do we need to move to some other market? Okay. The thing is, the product management is filled with so many decisions. Yes, it is context dependent, but before you build the product, while you're delivering the product, even if you have delivered the product as well, you are filled with all those decisions. Okay. And these are the decisions that we're talking about here. So what is the data informed decision making? So something where we are talking today as well. Okay. So data informed decision making, guys, is not data driven, if I say so. Okay. Data informed decision making is still that you are using data as a one of critical input. Again, we're not saying that it is the only input. It is one of the critical input to take the decisions. Okay. You use the data along with some other things as well, like instinct, your past experience, and some other information that you have got, the guidance and all. Like I was just talking to Frederick before this session. Frederick, you said something really, really nice, which stick to my head. Can you please share this with the wider public as well, Frederick?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we were talking about the difference between data informed and data guided or data driven. And I remember from my time at Spotify, we knew if you're just data driven, you're essentially creating a loop that is kind of self-reinforcing all the time, and you become blind to just follow the data. And so you want to be data informed, but you don't want to be blindly guided by it. You want to be informed, but then guided by vision.
So we are guided by our strategy. We are guided by that product vision that we have got. And then we are informed with the data that how to meet that vision as well. Yeah. Great. Love it. So you're still not using that, oh, I am taking the data driven decisions. No, we are saying the data informed decision making. That's what we are talking about here. Yeah. And So this is where I wanted to clarify this thing as well, that, okay, data informed is not data control, it's not data driven. Okay. So again, we are evidence informed. Okay. We are surrounded by so much of data around us. Okay. If we are just simply start using that data completely to take out decisions, probably we will be taking so many decisions and those can go wrong again as well. So again, it's informed. Okay. And here we just not just talking about the metrics or measures and all those kind of things. Sometimes you need to combine that qualitative input with that quantitative input as well. It's together. Okay. It's good. Don't think that the need of doing the interview of your users and the customers, they go away. You do get a lot of qualitative data sometimes through that. Okay. Okay. So there's still a lot of value in doing that qualitative analysis as well, which you can combine with some data as well, and that probably will drive the much better decisions, I would say. And again, I still think that data informed is very much human centered approach. Okay. We are still talking about the user's needs. We're still talking about the stakeholder problems, their concerns, and all that. And this is why I think that this data informed approach is much more effective when we are building the relationship with our stakeholders as well. Probably this is why what the today's webinar is all about. How to use this data informed decision making to build the better relationship. Yeah. Individual and interactions over process and tools, actually. Oh, one of the agile values.
Can I add to this slide here?
Yes, yes.
So when you say the balancing the quantitative and qualitative, I think it's great because, quantitative might tell you what is happening, how often, etc. But it's often hard to understand why, and that's why you need the qualitative, right? The qualitative will tell you why it's happening or why it's not happening, whereas the quantitative might just tell you if it is or isn't. So yeah, we need both, right?
We need both. And sometimes I think, Frederick, that people, they have misunderstood this thing that, oh, I need to take this decision entirely based on that. Mate, not possible. Okay. You still need to combine both. I think that's where, in my experience, the better decisions are taken. If you purely use the gut feeling, then you may build something which nobody wants. And if you purely using just the metrics and all that, sometimes you might be building again that nobody wants as well. Great products are not built in the meeting rooms, unfortunately. Yeah, the great products are built with the customers and the users. You do need to talk to them. Okay, you do need to have the conversation with them as well. Okay, so next thing, now you have understood a little bit about what this data informed decision making is. Just wanted to share that act data as a compass. Okay, that are we going in the right direction? That North Star, something Frederick mentioned, is our goal. Okay, that vision, that product vision. Okay, data act like a compass in that how we are still moving in towards that vision in itself. It's not a controller, it's more like a compass to us. Okay. Okay. So what happens if we do not have the data? Okay. Probably the worst thing you can say sometimes, that if you do not have the data at all, sometimes the decisions are taken in a very different ways. Okay, so gut feeling, somebody thinks, hey, I think this is the best thing to do, let's just build it. Okay, probably that gut feeling is coming more from the previous experiences as well. They have worked in the past, they have gathered some experiences. But one problem which I have seen with this gut feeling or the intuitions based decision is that people think that what their knowledge is still up to date. But sometimes in today's world, things changes very fast as well. And this is why sometimes it drives some wrong decisions as well. Earlier, we were talking about hippo, or let's say the hierarchies or the authority. I give you one real life example. So I met, I was talking to one product manager a few weeks ago, and he shared one information with me that his head of product, okay, he met one of the clients. So they had hundreds of clients, and he met one of those clients, and that client shared some of the pain point their company is facing, okay, and he heard just that one person and thought that, hey, our company should build these features to solve this kind of problem. Only one of the hundreds, okay. And then they were so much, I would say, driven by that, and we built a feature, okay, to solve the problem that one kind of client was facing, and that feature never got used by any of the other clients, okay. Hippo based decisions that we're talking about. Another one that we talk here is the copying the competitors. I think this is something that I'm seeing a lot. Everybody wants to build the AI chatbots. But when I ask them, why the hell you want to build the AI chatbot? What is the use case? Because my competitor is doing it. Okay. And they have got no other reasoning behind that. Decision driven by the urgency. Sometimes we also call it as the deadline driven development. So if you might have heard of, okay, we have got no, I would say, idea about the value that just meet the deadline, okay. You have got something to meet by that deadline, just do it. And sometimes what I have seen is that this also drives a lot of the firefighting mode, and also unnecessary pressure as well. Yeah. Another one is the person who is the loudest gets the most. Yeah. I would love to talk about something here is that culture doesn't build overnight, first of all. Okay. When people they think that, hey, this person has got his feature delivered or her feature delivered. Why they got it? Because that person was the loud in the meeting room. Okay. That person put the pressure on the delivery team. That's how they have got their thing done. Other people say, see, is that this is how to get our things done. And suddenly everybody in our organization, they start becoming louder and louder and louder. And over the time, what happens? We have got a culture where everybody's escalating the things. Okay. Everybody's asking for reports. Okay. These kind of culture, they do not build overnight. But I think we can reverse it using the data informed decision making as well. We can build that good culture of, I would say, innovation and experimentation as well. Will it happen overnight? I don't think so. Okay. But can it start having some right conversation? I definitely think so. Yeah. So again, if the bad culture can build over time, a good culture can also build over time as well. Okay. I'm not a pessimist. I'm an optimist person. So yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that. Okay. Why we are talking about the data informed decision making as compared to the gut feel decision making or the intuition feel decision making. Okay. So one of the key things which I definitely talk about is the transparency. Okay. You are building the shared understanding with your stakeholders, with the people, when you bring that data upfront as well. Okay. Gut feel decision based, people sometimes they do not even talk about the rationale. I give one real life example again. So I few years back I joined one organization as a product owner. Okay. And we did our first sprint planning, and everything went good. I was quite happy with that. Okay, we were talking about the visions, the product goals, and all those kind of good things. Okay. Then next day, while my team they started working towards it, my head of product he entered into our team's area, and I'm talking about the pre-COVID when we used to go to office, guys. Okay. He said, "Hey, Lavnish, are you the new product owner for this team?" And I said, yes. Or maybe he's going to share some good news or something with me. He said, can you please stop working on what you're working on now? And I was like, okay. And he said that, can you please work on these 2 tickets on an urgent basis? Okay. And I would say maybe I had a lack of courage at that time or something. So I did ask one thing that, hey, why it is important? He only said it is urgent. And because of that lack of courage, I couldn't ask, the one more question to him as well regarding the rationale behind that urgency. I said, yes, boss. Okay. I give it back to my team, and then they started moaning. We told you in this company, there's no point of doing this gold shit that you're talking about here. Okay. They change their priority every now and then and all that. Eventually, they delivered those 2 tickets, but that really hit me somewhere. Okay. One good thing that company they used to do was that you will get a chance to talk to the senior leaders, okay, over the coffees and all. So I had a chance after 2 weeks talk to my head of product and asked him, hey, you remember you gave us those 2 tickets to work on? What was the reason behind that? First he had to think what those 2 tickets were, and then he said, oh, those 2 tickets are the part of our proof of concept that we are doing for our biggest client. And I was like, okay, and thanks to your team, guys, we have win the bid of that. And I was like, okay, so why the hell you didn't share this thing when you gave us those 2 requirements? And he said, oh, probably I should have. It slipped out of my mind, mate. I was under a lot of pressure. That just few minutes ago, I had a very heated conversation with the client, and they said that they are not going to accept our bid if those 2 things are not delivered. Okay, so thanks to your team, we have got the bid. Please pass my thanks to them. Okay. And at that moment, I felt that maybe I failed my team. Okay. Why I failed my team? Because maybe if I would have got a little courage and asked that question to my leader, probably they would have helped my company to win their biggest bid rather than just working on the 2 Jira tickets. Okay. So my urge, guys, please, again, you have got very smart people. Don't turn them into the Jira tickets burner. Okay. They are value creators. Okay. Maybe this data that we're talking about can help them in understanding this thing as well, that they are not just burning Jira tickets, they are delivering the value actually. Okay. So this is how the data helps in building that transparency as well. Okay. Then another thing that comes along with it is the engagement and the buy-in. Okay. I know I'm picking a quote from another thing. Data doesn't judge. Somebody gave me this quote last year or last to last year, sometime I would say. Data doesn't judge. Okay, when you bring that data in, okay, it helps in having the better buy-in. Okay, so for an example, I give another real life example. In one of the place where I used to work, is my product has a very high technical debt. But whenever I am asking my leaders and managers that, guys, I want to spend some time in killing this technical debt, those I would say my request got declined. No, we have got lots of features to build. There are so many clients we have got asking for so many things. No technical debt. These developers, they always cry about this technical debt. Don't do that. Move ahead. Okay. Next time, what I did, I brought some data in. And what that data was, that how much is this cost of technical debt is. Okay. So I did a simple calculation. My team has, my product was supported by 5 teams, and we had almost 10 people every team itself. So around 50 people, you can say, for a simple calculation. And let's say my company has got 400 pounds per day average cost per employee. Okay. So we have got, let's say, what, 20,000 pounds per day as a human capital cost, you can say. And what used to happen because of the technical debt, every sprint we used to lose 1 day in fixing the technical debt. Our environments were failing, then we are trying to bring them up and all that. And this time I brought that, guys, we leaders, we are losing almost 180,000 pounds every quarter because of the technical debt. Now, this gave them an input to say that, oh, we didn't know that this is how much costly it is. Okay. And then the sponsor of my product, okay, who then he said, okay, guys, what we would really love to see is what is your strategy to kill this technical debt and all. Okay. And what we started doing, we started spending at least 1 day of every sprint in killing the technical debt. Okay. How this decision got supported, how we got the buy-in, because we would able to talk about that cost, that technical debt is killing us. Okay. So without data, I think sometimes it's very difficult to get the buy-in and get their engagement in as well. Yeah. Again, the conflict resolution, our leaders, managers, stakeholders, sometimes they have got their own priorities sometimes. Okay. Data provides that neutral ground, I would say, where they can have the conversation, that shared understanding as well. And the last one, which I really love, is scalability. If you just taking the decision based on the intent or the gut feeling, okay, it's very difficult to scale those kind of decision when your product grows. But when we learn how to use the data in, okay, to help our decision making, we can scale that kind of decision making as well. That can be passed on from one person to another person. But when you are just using the gut and the intuition, what happens is whenever that person goes, they also take that gut and intuition along with them as well. Okay, it's very difficult to replace that. And this is where I would say that, okay, how the data informed decision making can help us in scaling the decision making as well. And I would say it improves the delegation as well. Okay, in the gut feeling and the intuition based decision making, it's very difficult to delegate because it's only limited to one or two people. But when you're using the data, it helps in the delegation and also the scalability of the decision making as well. Yeah.
It's also a lot easier to be contributing to that, right? To contribute and research and get data, but getting another person's gut is very hard.
Exactly. Then people become irreplaceable sometimes as well, Frederick, and single point of failure as well.
Right. So
Yep.
it absolutely scales better.
Yep. Now, this is one thing. All the summary is use data as a catalyst to reduce the biases in the decision making. Okay. But we have got so many biases around us. Okay. So we are not saying that completely kill the biases, because biases will always be there. But when we use this data, probably we will be able to take the better decisions as well, not just driven by somebody's head only. Okay. Now, how this data informed decision making helps us in the stakeholder relationships. I think we already started talking about this piece as well, but I thought, why not try to put it into some kind of steps? Okay, so I'll talk about those steps in a second, but before that, I'll also talk about the biggest challenges that we face when we are having certain conversation with the stakeholders as well. So first, conflicting priorities. Have you seen sometimes that the stakeholder, they feel, hey, why you are working on this thing? My thing is more important. And it feels like that they have got different priority in their head. We have got different priority in our head. And the worse, if you have got 10 different stakeholders, they all have got 10 different priorities in their head. Okay. So we have got so many conflicting priorities around us. Okay. This unclear rationale. So something that example which I just gave you, people sometimes they do not provide us the rationale. They just say, hey, build this. Why? It is urgent. Okay. I have worked a lot in the banking domain. There they use something called as, hey, do it. Why? It's a regulatory requirement. And then as soon as they have used the regulatory, stopped. Okay. Okay. But when I ask them this question as well, hey, can you please tell me which regulation? Which clause of the regulation are you talking about? Okay. I have seen many people, they start becoming quieter and quieter as well. And I'm not saying that there is no rationale behind it, but it would be good for me to know as well that, okay, why? Which clause of the regulation are you talking about? It's for my education as well. Okay. Then we got people, they have got their own biases. Okay. Something that we earlier were talking about as well. Emotional biases, the personal biases. They only listen to one or two people. I have seen many product leader, they will only listen to one or two people, the louder one. Okay. And as soon as those louder voices, they started going into the leader's head, they start forming certain biases again. Yeah. And then lack of transparency towards the progress. This also causes a big problem. When they cannot see that how the progress in this product or these decisions is looking like, they call us in the meetings, reports. And suddenly what happened is that we product people, we started going to the many meetings and then start generating lots and lots of reports. The time which we could have invest with talking to the users, interviewing the customers, interviewing the users, okay, running the prototypes and all that time goes away in just meetings. Yep. So these are the things that sometimes cause the friction among our teams and also the stakeholders as well. Okay. Then how to solve this? Okay. So how data can help in this situation? So let's say the first challenge that we're talking about. Why did we prioritize this feature? The data informed decision making. Here it would be, hey, show them the evidence. Okay. Show them some data around it as well. We prioritize this because we have learned from our experiment that this is what people are looking for. Okay. You can have the much better conversation around it. We have run a survey. We have spoken to the 20 prospective customers. That's why we have prioritized this thing. Sometimes people, they say, hey, I don't think it will work, mate. Okay, mate, if you think so, why not we run a quick test then? Why can we use this hypothesis-driven development? Okay, just build a hypothesis, test out that hypothesis, bring that result of that hypothesis and show it to them that, mate, we have run this solution fit experiment and it is showing some results, it's showing some signs that it may work as well. Yeah. Misalignment of the goals, which can happen among the stakeholders as well. It can also happen among us and the stakeholders as well. We can bring the focus back onto the outcomes and the impact. On a higher level, I think we are pretty much working towards the same goal. Okay. But those goals fizzles out when we start talking about the Jira tickets and the features. Yeah. This is why I think that, okay, why something Frederick earlier mentioned as well. Those visions, those goals sometimes are more powerful. Your measures, your data is for that goal rather than the other way around itself. Yeah. So focusing on the outcomes, focusing on the impacts is something that can drive us as well. And then the decision disputes as well. What data that does is it brings the neutrality. Okay. It reduces the bias. Okay. Not just always focusing on the opinions and all. Your opinions are combined with the data. Okay. Not purely reliant on one thing itself. Okay. So what data does is data builds us a shared language, okay, which allows us to collaborate rather than conflicting with the stakeholders itself. Okay, so please remember that they are not devils. Okay, they are not people who always trying to kill the product. I don't think that you can build a great product without the support of the stakeholders. And hence we need collaboration. Data can be that tool that enables that collaboration as well. Okay. So steps earlier that I was talking about, okay, how to build this data informed decision making as well. So first, maybe start with the shared outcome, the vision that we have got, okay, impacts. And this is where I would say one of the tools that Product Circus has built VBSE. What does the VBSE means, Frederick?
The VBSC means value-based stakeholder engagement.
Okay,
That's
so
the
we
whole.
have got a VBSE card, isn't it?
Yep.
So maybe Frederick can talk about that card after this as well. Okay, so start with that maybe. Okay, aligned with that. Then second is once you have understood those outcomes, that bigger goals, then co-create the hypothesis with them. Don't create those hypotheses in the silo. Okay, co-create with them. And this is where we can also talk about our second tool, which we are going to share with you as well. What's that?
Asking me?
What's that second tool that can help us in co-creating the hypothesis together?
So it's a simple thing called the bet card, and the idea is, in a complex world, we need to, make guesses. Even if we have good data, qualitative and quantitative, etc., we're still making guesses about the future. So let's make those guesses together and bring all the intelligence and, intuition and all of these things that are the biases we accept into this and make it clear. What are the biases? What are the assumptions we're making?
Thank you. So and that bet card that we're talking about, guys, can also support the rest of the other steps that we are talking here as well. Okay, once you have built this hypothesis with the stakeholders, you will gather certain data once you will be running those hypotheses as well. So run those hypotheses, run those tests to validate those hypotheses, you gather the data, and then translate that data into some impact and insights. Data will drive certain insights for you. Okay, and those insights, when they are coupled with the human intuitions and the gut feeling or all the context that you have got, that will drive the nice conversation. And then close that feedback loop with them. Okay, don't just run the experiment. You got the data, then what should I going to do with that? Go and share it with them, guys. Okay. So this is, again, it's a collaborative approach again. Okay, it's not that you are just collecting the data and then going away. Okay, go and share it with them. This is how you are helping building a good experimentation culture. Okay, your stakeholder, they have seen maybe some very big experiments in the past that have gone bad. Okay, and that's why they think that experiments are bad sometimes. When you run these smaller experiments, gather the data, they can also feel that, oh, we can run the smaller experiments. I can do a paper prototype. Oh, we can also do a Figma prototype. Oh, we can do a feature fake. Okay. Then only they can start getting aligned with us as well. So maybe these steps you can follow to how to engage with them a little bit better using the data informed techniques as well. Okay. So here we have got the VBSC card, something Frederick was talking about. Okay. So Frederick, would you briefly talk about what this card is?
Yeah, absolutely. And briefly, it is the output of the collaboration and the engagement, right? This is not the goal. This is something that should help you have these conversations that you've been talking about, Lavanish. And so quickly, top left corner is, for your stakeholder X, a person in your organization, what are the customer values they care about? And what are the user values they hope that you are going to improve? And what are the company values, the things that might be profit, risk, etc., that is solely based on your company and your ideas, right? And then we have this fourth one called personal value, which is a little bit more tricky to explain, but essentially, most people are they're driven by what they think is important, and that might be more things than just customer value, user value, and company value. But that's for the VBSE course to get better at working in this fourth area, right?
And I think everybody has got their own personal value as well. Getting to know this could be helpful, isn't it, in setting up the right expectation for the people. Sometimes I feel that stakeholder engagement is all about setting up the right expectations with them, collaboratively working with them. And this is what it helps, that, okay, how to understand this value, what our stakeholder consider as a value actually, from four multi-dimensional viewpoint as well. Yeah. then this is what we are going to share it with you guys as well, that we already have this filled VBSE card, something that got done some time back. Okay, so that you can see some examples as well. Okay, so whenever this webinar is over, you will have some early access of these cards so that you can do it by yourself as well. And if you need some help, why not come to this VBSE course as well? Yeah. Then another tool that we were talking about was this value-based bat canvas itself. Something Frederick was already saying, that everything is a bat until unless it's proven. Yeah. Okay. So how to move towards that? Okay. Our product backlog is nothing but a filled with lots and lots of bats sometime. Okay. And again, Frederick can help us understanding a little bit more. What is the purpose of this canvas as well?
So again, this is not the perfect goal. This is 9 areas that we think is going to be helpful in your conversations and your engagement with your stakeholders. So these are good pieces and bits to put into your thinking and your decision making, which, you know, product leadership is all about. It's the decision making, right? Because that's what we need to lead and lead to get anywhere. We need decisions to show where we want to go. And so these are 9 different perspectives of figuring out, how do we want that decision making to happen? What's the data observation? What is the experiment we're going to do? Why is this an interesting opportunity, etc.? And so this is support for that conversation. And if you record it in the card like this, or if you record it in some other way, that's not the specific detail, but these are some good questions to ask to have a more valuable conversation and engagement with your stakeholders.
So if I say so, this is a tool to drive the conversation with the stakeholder.
Tool to drive that, and also drive the decisions, and
Yeah.
to bring the transparency you're talking about, so people understand what's the data, what's the reasoning behind, why did we do this, what are the accepted risks, and what are the accepted assumptions we're building this on, and all of those things that you mentioned should be driven if you follow these 9 steps, more or less.
Yeah.
And then it brings clarity to almost everything you mentioned.
Thank you. Yeah, it's all about the transparency in the end. Okay. And that transparency drives the collaboration in the end again as well. Yeah. And this last part, guys, don't fill out on this, that next evaluation moment. This is probably the 5th topic that we're talking about. Hey, close the feedback loop. Okay. When we want to talk about it as well in the 2 weeks time, on the one month time. Okay. Let's come back. Okay. Discuss what we have learned so far. Have you got some evidence? Have you got some data around it as well? Okay. So very valuable tool. Again, we have got one filled example for you, which you can have a look, maybe take some inspiration and try things out. And again, if you want to learn it, how to use it in a practical way, why not again attend that class as well? Okay. So again, very valuable tool, guys, where to have the better collaboration with the stakeholders as well. Okay. So this is something I really love to highlight as well, that data is not something that is creating, I would say, the rift between the delivery and the stakeholder. Use the data to act as a bridge, okay, that connects both the stakeholder as well as our teams as well. It's not a barricade, it's a bridge. Okay. And to do that, what do we need to do this? Engage them early. Okay. Involve them as well while working, while filling out those VBSE card or our BAT card as well. Okay. Talk to them, show them the evidence. Okay. Let the data guide, let the data informed. Okay. Not dictate our decision making. Okay. That should be combined with so many other things like the product vision, product strategy, talking to the users, interview, the results of the interviews, and all that. It is not the only thing, but it is one of the critical input that help us in taking the better decision. It is one of it, not the only input. itself. Okay. And these is how I would like to sum it up as well, that 5 biggest benefit which you could see when we start using this data informed decision making. First, it minimizes the bias. Okay, maybe you cannot completely kill the bias, but it definitely can minimize the bias as well, because now you're talking about some shared language here. Okay. Second, it minimizes the risk and reduces the waste. Why? Because this eventually, that that nothing is guaranteed unless you go talk, run tests, and all that. The biggest, I would say, risk in the product development is you have built something that nobody wants. Understand that risk a little bit earlier. Yeah. And this is what the data can help. What I can do to get to know that, is this a problem fit? What can I do to understand, is it a solution fit? What can I do to whether it's a product market fit? Okay. Continuous that learning. And this is where I would say that's the third point as well. Data informed decision accelerate our learning. Okay. Learning is the more important thing sometimes. Learning about our users' problem, learning about the solutions, learning about whether people are ready to pay for this on as well. Learning must not stop. Okay. So data help us in that accelerated learning as well. It encourages the innovation again, because now you are not purely focused on, hey, build this. Okay. Instead of thinking on that feature oriented and the feature factory, now you're talking about, hey guys, this is the product vision that we have got. Okay. The impact that we might be looking for. To support this, we have got outcomes that we might be looking for as well. Now, what output we should build? Taking that step back, okay, and thinking about those impacts and the outcome that we are looking for can drive the innovation, because there one problem can be solved by 3 multiple or many multiple solutions. Which solution is best? We do not know. Let's just figure it out together. Okay. And that drives the innovation. That's the source of innovation to me. Okay. If you hand over the solutions to your team, okay, maybe you are killing that innovation straight away. If you take those problems and the needs to the team, I can bet you they can amaze you sometime with how smart they are. Okay, that's the innovation that we are looking for. Okay, and that's how we foster a culture of experimentation as well. Don't give them the solution. Okay, give them the problems. Our team members, they are expert of solution. Maybe your stakeholders, they are expert of problems as well, and connect both the problems and solutions together.
And you can build that based on data, right? That problem, like, hey, we see in the data here that we have a problem here. How can we fix this? What are some options that we have? And immediately, like you said, we bring innovation to the table, right? People start thinking about, we could do this, we could do that. And eventually, you also start thinking about, how do we know if we're right? So it becomes an experimentation where we use data again to show if we're actually making progress on the real problem.
And Frederick, just to add to that, I think this is my theory. I think that stakeholders, they are also under immense pressure.
Yep.
And when they are under pressure, things slip out. Okay. It's not that they don't have a data, or they don't have sometimes, why they are taking the data. It's just that under that pressure, they just go to the team and say, hey, build this. But asking them this question, hey, why do you think it is important? Have you got any data which you can share with us? You are not only helping yourself, but you are also helping them to just stop, take a pause. Is it really that important, or just I am just acting on it because 2 people just came to my office and they have sent some angry emails to my boss? You are using the data, actually you are helping them as well.
Yep.
Okay. So don't just consider this as our approach that can help in building the great product, but it can be a really great approach in building that trusted relationship with our stakeholders as well. Yep. And here, I'm ready for any questions if people have got. Pratik, go ahead. What is the biggest barrier to shifting to this model? Okay.
Should I go first?
Yeah, go ahead, Frederick.
In my opinion and my experience, there is no barrier. You need to get the data. That might be a barrier if you don't have the data. So start go getting it. So you might need time to go get it. That might be a barrier. I don't know how big much of a barrier that is. But bringing the data to a conversation is just up to your courage. Whether people will start acting on it, that's where we have the VBSE, the Value-Based Stakeholder Engagement course, which takes more than 1 minute to explain. But that is where we make it practical and also handle the, it's not always this pretty situation, right? That's the favorite module for me. And it's not always pretty.
I have got one more.
Yeah, sure.
So for me, the one of the barrier, Frederick, I think is the knowledge. Okay. Many people, they don't know that actually how we can actually gather some early data as well. Not everything needs to be in the production. There are many different techniques that we can use to gather the data as well. And I think because many people, they don't know about it, things like, okay, running the interview, okay, and also doing the survey, okay, go out and gather that data as well. I think this is one of the biggest barrier as well, that lack of knowledge about how to actually get that as well. And I think this is where we can help. Yeah, that your stakeholders, they are not devils. It's just that because you are not sometimes using the right language, they always fall back onto the old things which they knew. Yeah. Okay. But if we start complementing it with educate them, have the conversation with them, I think. Okay. But if you have the knowledge, you can pass on that knowledge as well. So this way I would say, guys, roll up your sleeves and have those courageous conversation with them as well. I think they need help. Okay. They are not devils, but they need help. Yeah. And you cannot build great product without their help. Yeah. It's a give and take relationship.
We have about 5 minutes left in our time box, and I know some people are probably going to be going to another meeting at the top of the hour. So we'll try to be kind and give you a couple minutes between. So we'll move on. If you do think of a question later, at a later point in time, I'm going to drop a couple emails into the chat. You can reach Lavanish and also Frederick and myself and Paul at info@projectcircus.com.org. Wow, we are .org. Lavanish is at edgeagility.com. All right. If you would like to connect with Product Circus, somehow you have found this webinar. So that means you have found us through one of these channels. If you'd like to follow us on any of the others, we are pretty active on LinkedIn. We'll post anything, any event on Meetup and also on productcircus.org. You can find all of our upcoming training courses, news, webinar recordings, etc. will be posted there.
Just to add on that, Sabrina.
Yes.
And guys, if you think that if you found it useful, why not share with your other colleagues, friends, and other people as well? Okay, so don't just be selfish. Sharing is caring. Okay,
sharing is caring. Yes, thank you, Lavanish. And if you saw our posts about this webinar, you probably also saw that we would give you away a couple goodies for you guys that you saw today, the value-based stakeholder engagement card and also the value-based bet canvas. We would, in exchange for these early access PDFs, we would really appreciate your feedback on this webinar experience so that you can help others have a enjoyable and memorable time in the future also.
I would add one more to this as well. So when we will be reaching out to you guys, so you can receive the 50% discount on my next value definition and as well as the value-based stakeholder engagement class as well. Why not experience it by yourself? Okay, so we will send those details later on as well. I would love to see you there, guys. Okay, and see your opinion, and also it will be a good data for me to see as well that, hey, whether people they like it or not data guided, data informed. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
We try to eat
Great.
our own dog food or drink our own champagne. I've heard that's a much better way to put it. Um, I think that's it. I had fun. I hope you all had fun. Thank you, Lavanish, for your great energy. I hope you start feeling better. Thank you, Frederick, also, and all of our wonderful participants. For now, we're going to sign off and say goodbye and thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yeah.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
guys. Thank you.
Have a nice end of the week.
Yes.